President. Well, the Madam President is not in. However, I will still welcome her to her seat and hope that her tenure is going to be an enjoyable one. I want to thank the Heavenly Father for His grace bestowed upon me in allowing me to be here to make my contribution to the esteemed House. We've heard quite a lot this morning or today, and some of it has not made good reading or good hearing, whilst the rest of it has given us an opportunity, especially those on the other side, to report and to return and make what I consider very thought-provoking and also important decisions for the persons in St. Lucia. Madam President, I stand here with a very heavy heart to make my contribution on behalf of the Appropriation Bill 2018-2019. For it was not too long ago that St. Lucians were given the assurance that life would be better in St. Lucia. But as we peruse, what do we see? We who are here, we should be honest with ourselves. We should be clear in our thought as to what exactly is happening in St. Lucia today. And I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, or we do some soul searching, the answers that we will get, when we come to this house, we would be speaking differently, we would be thinking differently, and we would do things in the interest of the people of St. Lucia. But what do we do? What does the government do? Madam President, it is like, as we normally say, you wash your hands, nice and clean, you turn your back, and you go and you dig it again in the mud. Sa nukuye lave la main et nous rassuyer à terre. We come to this honorable house. We make pronouncements as to what we are going to do for the people of St. Lucia. But in practicality, do we practice what we say? Do we hold on to the end of our bargain? And I'm pleased that when I speak to my fellow St. Lucians, whichever constituency that I may pass through. It's the same voice. The same thing. Gouvernement dit yo devrait faire ça et qu'il va faire l'autre bagaille. Gouvernement dit yo devrait mettre ça, yo ka mettre l'autre bagaille. And the reality, Madam President, is not we coming here and speaking. We go, we meet with our people. We hear their cries. We hear their concerns. We come back to this house. We share it. But what happens? We've been ridiculed. Quand nous ne pas chaud, ça nous dit pas important. So we have the brain boxes on this side of the house, sitting at cabinet level, making decisions for the people of St. Lucia. And when the people of St. Lucia say no, they laugh. When they say no, through us, who represent them in the house, they laugh. They coined the SLP's form of rulership as communists. But, Madam President, the more I listened to the leader of government business, the more I saw a clear and direct description of what they are doing to the people of St. Lucia. Their policies are exactly the opposite of what they say. They say that the government, the opposition, lines their policies as per communists, which means ça yo te ka fait by state lycéen, c'est puis j'ai le ka pige Jean state lycée. Ça yo te ka fait by Jean state lycée. C'est quoi? C'est le ka croiser Jean state lycée. Et que yo vini pour manger. Mais là regardez, parler by Jean pays ya, yo sel sa kwatan bagay wet, bagay mauvais. But I hope that one day he's going to get someone to speak into his ears and he's going to listen. Because flying up, being pompous is one thing. But when you are humbled, I just hope that when he's humbled, he understands and he takes it well. Madam President, in the pronouncement of the Appropriation Bill by the Prime Minister, going through, it was just like a cloud. A cloud, lots of misgivings. A cloud, empty promises, nothing for young persons of this country. He, I remembered clearly, said that the children, how he's so happy. And now we're going to focus on children. But going through his budget speech, absolutely nothing. Nothing for our children. Absolutely nothing. And I'm going to prove later where there is absolutely nothing. Madam President, first and foremost, I want to just continue from where the independent senator left, as it pertains to the cultural aspect of our country. If anyone on either side of the house, if you are honest and you are fair and you talk about you understand you are going to say, just as the opposition, the senator said that there is absolutely nothing when it comes to the culture and the arts for St. Lucians. Zero, nothing. And are we in favor of our St. Lucians? When we can put aside millions of dollars, whether it be for consultancy work, whether it be for carrying out commission of inquiry, whether it be for investigations, whether it be to pay legal fees. But the question is, what is there for the culture and the arts? Where do they feature? In the Prime Minister's budget, where do they feature? We have the situation with the cultural center. We have the situation in the cultural center. We have artist upon artist speaking clearly that they are against this. Clearly. What did the government do? Or what do? They hold their way. That is what we are going to do. Although I heard through the grapevines that they seem to be reconsidering. They seem to be reconsidering. But we are yet to see it, and I wait to see. But what do? They're going to build a Hall of Justice. Hall of Justice. What is in the Hall of Justice which gives it the relevance to be up where the cultural center is? And the cultural center does not deserve its place up there. When we have artists who have come in with drawings of how the very same building they said that could not fit, they come with their new drawings, they show, and it has been there for years. It's been there for years. But what's the attitude of this government? It's not what you say, it's what I say. What I say is not what you say, it's what I see. So our aspiring cultural activists and artists, they have no voice. They don't have a voice. We don't have time to hear. We don't have time to listen to you. We say we are doing it, and that is what we are doing. Regardless of the fact that they have been spoken to, they have had meetings, spoken to, yet still, they insist that is what we are doing. But let us see how far it's going. Let us see where we're going to go with this. As they said, that our patrimony is our credit rating. Not what is there to be preserved and to be respected and to be honored, but it's the credit rating. But you know what I'm happy about? That they are now thinking, we are rethinking. We are rethinking. I hope the word that I misspoke does not come out. I hope the term I misquote or I misspoke does not come out. Madam President, St. Lucia, I am of the firm belief that there is a place for St. Lucians in St. Lucia. And no government has the right to come in, or no 17 or 15 or 14 men can sit and decide and say, this is what we want and this is what we're going to do. I believe the people of St. Lucia, they have the final say. And when push comes to shove, when the time comes, what is going to happen will happen. I'm convinced of that, and I believe that. Because I think that the culture and the arts, we have esteemed men and women covering this field of work. And I believe that we should give them a listening ear and at least reconsider and allow them to do exactly what they said with the building that they said that they cannot do. In terms of our young persons in St. Lucia, Madam President, as I said earlier, perusing the budget statement, looking at the estimates, looking at the word of the Prime Minister, that our young persons will be taken care of. I saw very little in there that I can consider as nothing. To create employment for our young persons. Going through his budget speech, all I saw was the Ojo Labs. That's all I saw. Nothing. A very short piece of reading on the social services. Very short. Nothing for the young persons. We have a 38.5% unemployment amongst our young persons. And if it is the antics of Ojo Labs to provide employment for young persons to bring down this percentage, they better think again. They better think again. Because what they promised, they said it's going up to 300 employees. 300. Is that in any way going to create a dent on the 38.5%? My friend here said the very same thing. What do we do to keep our young persons, the young brains? What do we do to keep them in St. Lucia? What do we provide for them to remain or to have this desire to go out, study, and come back home? And feel comfortable that when they sit, they're going to get a job according to their field of study and feel comfortable to serve St. Lucians in a distinct way. What do we have for them? I believe, as was said, it is easy to speak lies and to get to the reins of power. But when you get there, it's what you do. It's what you do. And throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia, persons, young persons that I speak to, Madam President, they have said they have seen no way where they can leave the position they are in unemployed and get employment under this administration. There's no way they have seen that. So what is going to happen? Are we going to allow our young persons to continue to linger in unemployment? Or are we going to develop the programs that are necessary to provide them with an avenue to go in and find gainful employment? You talk about the NICE program. The NICE program. Madam President, there were library assistants under the NICE program. Library assistants under the NICE program. You had principal's assistants. You had persons working in various government offices. You had persons who were actively involved in the sporting programs as coaches, working with our young persons to give them an opportunity that they, if they become skilled, that today or tomorrow they could have easily obtained some form of work with some clubs, be it in the Caribbean or on the international market. These persons, if and when they had gotten there, they're going to come back to St. Lucia. They could invest. They can invest. So the NICE program wasn't just a program where it was created just as a buffer, as they claim to say. There was sense and there was logic in the NICE program. And if you needed an assistant at your office, you could easily liaise with the NICE office and you would get an assistant. And these persons, with the little income that they were getting, who said they couldn't do the part-time schooling and get more qualified and then move on to a higher job paying? They could. But with this government, they came in, and what they said, we are doing away with the NICE program. 95% were Labour Party supporters. I thought they were St. Lucians. I thought they were St. Lucians. I thought they were St. Lucians. And this is the kind of attitude that this government would come in, take them out, send them home, go on, increase the unemployment rate, increase the unemployment rate, yeah? Then, Madam President, today, one of the arms of the NICE program that they so reluctantly held onto, which was the caregivers program, what are they doing with it today? What are they doing with it today? You know what they're doing, Madam President? Today, come August, every worker has to take a month leave without pay. A month leave without pay. And you know what this money is going to do? They are going to bring in, they're going to hire some person to take control for 7 to 9 months. Is this employment? This is making the NICE program bigger and better. That is what they said. We'll make it bigger and better. But what do? They pretend like they don't know. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. Past it, we pass shock. It is coming from the cattle's mouth. That's where it's coming from. That is what they're going to do. That is what they're going to do. And when it comes, Madam President, when it comes, then they would say they did not know. Well, I'm telling them before. And I know that they have an idea. I know that. It's the same tricks and tactics that they think they can come and play upon St. Lucians and make St. Lucians look stupid. They're trying now to cover where I heard. But when it comes out, I hope you don't say where I heard it. The nice program, making it bigger and better. That's how they make it bigger and better. Nice. Madam President, they spoke about no new taxes in the budget. Oh yes, a budget, flowing budget. No new taxes in the budget. But ask them, in the Prime Minister's budget statement, they said they never made the 150, they never was able to gain the 150 from the tax levy. They were not able to do it. So, you mette 150 on the tax, on the gas. 150. Tout le monde a payé 150. Il venait et donc, l'année ça, 3000 et check machine, jeune acheté et qui en les chimères. So, l'argent qu'a fait, machine qu'a oué les chimères, yo ouais côté, yo ça fait plus l'argent. So, ça yo qu'a fait, cap là, you mette en le gas là, you can tirer. You're going to remove the cap. You can tirer cap là en le gas là. So gas pas 12.75 encore. Il pas 12.75 encore. Diesel pas 12.75 encore. Don't worry, il va monter because me là hier, même côté hier, il va monter. Il va descendre, il va monter. An additional burden on the poor. An additional burden on the poor peoples of St. Lucia. Added to that, he said he's going to remove what? He's removing the levy, not the levy, he's going to remove the I want to use the correct term, Madam President. Nobody, don't worry, he's not going to deter me. He's going to remove the what? The name, the term just slipped me, you know. The term just slipped me. But on rice, on the flour, on the sugar. Thank you very much. You all know, I don't need to ask you, sir. I don't need to ask you. This, what he said, he's not going to keep this and show like it is how they support the poor. So this is going. The only thing, the only little support that the poor people had in this country to assist them so that they could easily eat their pound of rice easily, or do a little bread at their homes, or buy a little bread at a certain price, and that price is going to change also. Si vous faites jam ou faites slowly, tout bagay après y a mouton en lait, puis c'est 4 mois moun la qui a fait la kay mette en lait, il kay mette en lait, qui ça ka arrivé nous? What is happening to the poor persons? So you see, this is truly a government who has no caring for poor people. They don't care about poor persons. They don't care. The rich man and them can sit, they can choose to buy wherever they want. They could buy, if they feel like eating at a hotel, you know, they could just walk in. I'm for dinner tonight. I came for dinner tonight. Just eat and then go. But they don't care what the poor person eats. They don't care what the poor person eats. And this is a government that cares about poor people of this country. Tax liable, rebate liable, qui ça on a subsidies là en l'air dit oui, sick et fine first. But I will tell you, 10 cents was spent on it, and it was like hellfire in St. Lucia. Hellfire by them. But today, they are going to remove it completely. So you pay the full grant. So if upon removing it, a pound of rice is going to cost $5, you have to buy it $5. You have to buy it. So who are we really working for in this country? Who are we really working for? Who are we really looking to assist us or to assist in this country? Who? As was rightly said, and there is no way it is rightly said.
Madam President, may I invoke Section 36B? Madam President, I need to inform the member opposite that this current administration at no point in time removed any subsidy
Madam
on
Speaker,
rice, sugar, and
what is this I'm standing order?
I just did.
What is
36B, I just did.
Gentlemen, please sit. Leader of Government Business did cite the standing order, and he was clear as to which order he was using. Please proceed, Senator Gedeon.
Madam President, may I invoke Section 9(3). We are approaching the 6 o'clock hour, Madam President, and I stand to request
Senator Gedeon, please sit. Please take your seat. He's standing on a point of order.
Thank you. Section 9(3), Madam. Section 9(3), Madam President. It reads that each day's sitting, unless previously adjourned, shall be suspended between the hours of 6 o'clock in the afternoon and 7:30 o'clock in the evening. So, Madam President, I stand to request the suspension of Standing Order Section 9(3) to allow this Honorable House to sit between the hours of 6 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 o'clock in the evening.
Senators, the question is that Standing Order 9(3) be suspended to enable the Senate to sit beyond the prescribed time of 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Senator Gedeon, continue.
So, as I was saying, that...
Senator Gedeon?
Yes.
You have 15 minutes left to conclude your submission.
So, as I was saying, Madam President, that based on this, it shows clearly that this government, who speaks of being in favor of the poor, who wants to carry the poor, is literally speaking and saying the opposite. They are literally saying something totally different. And they are doing things that are different to they saying that they want to help the poor. or they are with the poor. And it doesn't matter, Madam President, what they try to do. The fact is, it is written in their document. The Prime Minister spoke of it and he said it, he alluded to it. He said it. So if you are going to remove the subsidy on rice, sugar, and flour, you're going to uncap the fuel. Where do you leave the poor persons? Where do you leave them? Where and what are you going to do to poor persons? So tale, yo vle tout je pauvre même bagay yo ka di an. Yo pa vle, c'est ça qui a fait. Quand un je pauvre ka vini ka beg. Yo ka beg pour soin riche yo, yo ka beg pour soin corps yo. Et si yo pa joine, yo ka hope, yo ka mort. But I think there is a God, and by His grace, this will never happen in St. Lucia. This will not happen in St. Lucia. Whatever has to happen, God will direct. And we wait on His direction. It will never happen in St. Lucia. The Bible speaks, it says, regardless of what you say, the poor is always going to be with us. Because there is a lesson of humility, of being charitable, of being helpful, of being understanding. And this government has no understanding when it comes to the principles of directing the unfortunate. No whatsoever. None whatsoever. But the Bible says that also, you know, on the day when God calls, no one, absolutely no one can stop. When God comes with His judgment, no one will stop. And then we will say, Madam President, the Prime Minister, who is the leader of the CIP, he's the main person on the CIP program. Upon establishing the CIP program, he was warned not to interfere with the runnings of the CIP. Allow the CIP program as is because of the reason why it was established. It was established in order that we would bring to St. Lucia a high quota of persons, or more or less we will be catering for persons of a high standard in the market. He refused. As a matter of fact, the gentleman who at the time was the CEO of the CIP, you realize that they're in love with him. They did not know what to say, what to do about it. They're in love with him. They're so in love with him that they are mistakenly calling him a she. But if this person who called him a she was really a she, there is no interest from him in this person who calls she. He has no interest in it. None whatsoever. And so they took the CIP program and they did whatever they wanted. Today, what is happening, Madam President? You heard it again from our independent senator. You heard it again that after St. Lucia was placed on the blacklist, they came, they said whatever they wanted, yes, got removed, yes. But today, St. Lucia is a target for money laundering. Today, St. Lucia is looked upon as a target, a harbor for money launderers. And they made mention of the program. They made mention of the program, and they said it was as a result of government interference. Government interference. Our independent senator made mention of it. But if we have to go into it, we'll understand, Madam President. Why? Why? Why is St. Lucia all of a sudden being dragged? Why is St. Lucia all of a sudden being dragged in all kinds of dirt? Why? It's simple. We have a bunch of clueless persons running the country. They are clueless. They don't heed advice. They don't heed warning. They take no advice whatsoever. And they go and run, and they face the penalty. And poor St. Lucia and St. Lucians, we all get involved in it. We all. But as I said, God is still compassionate. God is still loving. He is still loving. And He's looking after us. He is looking after us one day at a time. Those who think that they are there as everlasting, like you took them, you stamp an everlasting stamp on them, that they are there everlastingly. Just wait and see. If you are so brave, wait. And ring the bell at the appointed time, and we shall see. Madam President, it is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking for me to stand and to reveal and to see that this budget, there is absolutely nothing in there to support our St. Lucians. Absolutely nothing. And it is so right, or I am so right, that when they speak or they stand to speak, they have no time to look at what they themselves wrote and what they themselves have in there, They have absolutely no time. All they do, the Labour Party, 20 years, 15 years, the Labour Party aligned to communism, the Labour Party this, the Labour Party that. Mr. Mogadio, Madam Speaker, Pointi Patience, allez, mandez, venez, mandez ces pécheurs, allez mandez ces pécheurs, espèce de pécheurs d'en rien. Zoni l'argent pour yo, so pas kabayo, allez mandez yo, qui m'en est affecté vivio, la kayo. Allez mandez yo. Allez vieux fort, mandez ces pécheurs vieux fort, qui m'en est l'argent yo, zoni pour yo, pas kabayo là, qui m'en est affecté yo. Et yet still, zovle, venez, et point plaster from you, et bali ben l'autre monde. Madam Speaker, Madam President, there are certain things that you choose to be careful about, just not to say. But the day St. Lucians will say enough is enough with this administration, I do hope that they are ready to face the consequences. I do hope they are ready to face the consequences.
Honourable Member, you have 5 minutes to conclude your contribution.
Thank you. We want our St. Lucians to understand that we are as patient as they are. We, the opposition, we are as patient as they are. And at the right time, the right things will be done. The right things will be done. You heard it talk about member, party supporter, speaks about grenades in the house and so on. They will be surprised They will be surprised. It will come from their own house. It will come from their own house. Because when you frustrate people, and you ill-treat people who trusted you and put their confidence in you, and who maltraite you, lewe yo leve vote koto, ou pa ka ni kote pou sewe. Ou pa ka ni kote pou sewe. Ek pa vindi, c'est un membre, un supporter, Labour Party qui parlait about bombs, grenade, and Kaila. You stand sometimes and you speak. You speak. You don't even know what you say. And I forgive you a lot of times, you know. I forgive you a lot of times because you don't know what you say. You just try to make the time and to speak. But time will tell. Time will tell. I want to thank you, Madam President. I want to say to St. Lucians, don't give up. Keep fighting. Hold the course. Stir the course. Because there is a time that will come. There is a time that will come. And they will make their decisions. They will make their decisions. It doesn't matter. Today, it's your turn. You're on this side of the house. It's your turn. I'm happy. Do whatever you want. It's your turn. It's your turn. But remember, there is a population out there looking very closely at what you are doing. And when the time comes, they will give you your response, the adequate and correct response for your dealings with them. Thank you, Madam President.